Hi everyone, and welcome to my first long format web essay. I have absolutely no idea how long this is going to be, but my goal is to provide you with everything related to Assassin's Creed 2. I want this to be the last video you ever need for this game. I originally was going to wing it and try to record what I could, but that simply wouldn't do this justice. I've been waiting to make this video since December, but school got in the way. Now that I have time again, I'm very excited to see how this turns out. Without further interruption, let us begin. I hope you liked the intro. I played that entire song myself with my own instruments. This video is going to cover 9 different topics: the historical setting, the plot and character development, the role of conspiracy, gameplay mechanics, narrative themes, legacy and influence, side quests, and my personal opinion. Let us begin. Assassin's Creed 2 transports players to 15th century Italy, a time when intellectual and artistic achievement was at a high. The game beautifully recreates iconic cities such as Florence, Venice, Rome, Forli, and San Gimignano. This offers players a chance to immerse themselves in the sights and sounds of this wonderful period. Florence is more than a backdrop. It really feels like a character in and of itself. The city feels alive. The narrow streets and squares with merchants, scholars, and nobles set the tone for the city, not to mention the buildings and art that made the city feel like a visual feast. As you traverse the city, you can find recreations of Renaissance architecture such as the Duomo, Palazzo della Signoria, San Lorenzo, and many, many more. I can't tell you the smile I get on my face when I run around Florence with the iconic soundtrack in the background. Sorry. Hold it right there! The city becomes even more alive when you learn about the politics involved in the main story, which we'll go over later. Monteriggioni serves as a safe haven for Ezio. It's his refuge, a place where he can recuperate, train, and upgrade himself as well as the city. It doesn't serve just as a tranquil retreat, though. It is revealed that it is a strategic stronghold in the ongoing conflict between assassins and Templars. Its defenses and location make it a prize for those seeking to control the region. As players progress through the game, they witness the transformation of a small village into a thriving fortress of a city. With each upgrade the player attains, the town becomes more prosperous and secure. There is also a DLC mission located here that lets you explore the Auditore Crypt, a short parkour puzzle mission that gives you lore on how the Auditores came to be. San Gimignano is one of my favorite maps in the entire franchise. When you look at the map, it appears so small, but it is a city that has a lot of height. It feels very medieval with its taverns and dilapidated buildings. Surrounding the city is the Tuscan countryside, where you can find small farmhouses, fortresses, and churches. There are even Roman ruins. The way the towers are connected by ropes makes traverse highly entertaining. The risk of slipping and falling and desynchronizing with just one simple mistake makes traverse jarring. Forli is a dark and cold city. Surrounding it is a foggy and swampy environment. Its massive walls make Forli a highly defendable place. It serves as a setting for pivotal missions in the story, not to mention the introduction of important characters.
22 years ago, stood where I stand now. Watched my loved ones die.
Lastly is the beautiful city of Venice. Venice is deeply complex, with its incredible amount of detail. The city is broken up into districts, which you will unlock as the game progresses. There is such contrast in them. There are noble districts with beautiful buildings, art, and people, while on the other side of the town are the slums where the thieves live. Players can easily lose themselves in the city. I know I did. There are several historical landmarks to see as well. Venice serves as the pinnacle of the plot of Assassin's Creed 2. Now we get to my favorite part of the game, the plot and character development. In Assassin's Creed 2, players embark on a journey through the life of Ezio, a young nobleman who had his whole world torn apart through betrayal and violence. As the story unfolds, Ezio transforms from a carefree kid into a skilled assassin with a talent for revenge. At the beginning of the game, Ezio is a carefree and charismatic 17-year-old. We witness this through the first few missions of the game when we meet his lover Christina, his family, and we get this iconic scene.
May it never change.
And may it never change us.
Quickly, this all changes as his father and brothers are arrested on false charges of treason. Ezio speaks with his father, who tells him to go home and use his talent to find a special room. He does this, and we also get this iconic scene that we all remember.
To bring this to Messer Roberto.
Ezio did what his father asked him to do, but to no avail. The next morning, in horror, his family is executed right before his eyes.
Father! I'll kill you for what you've done!
This sets him down a path of revenge and destruction. With the help of Paola, he takes his first life.
I'm not dead! I'm still here! Me! Ezio!
Ezio escapes Florence with his mother and sister, where he meets his uncle Mario in the countryside. It is here that Ezio trains and learns the truth about his father and the long war between the Templars and the Assassins. It takes convincing, but Ezio decides he too will become an assassin and complete his father's work. He begins with the assassination of Vieri.
Vorrei solo che avessi sofferto di più!
2 years later, he returns to Florence with the intent of going after Vieri's father, Francesco. It is here Ezio discovers a Pazzi plot, with the help of his new friend Volpe, to wipe out the Medici and put the Pazzi in power. Ezio tries to stop it, but he is only able to save Lorenzo. Amidst the chaos, Ezio assassinates Francesco. Lorenzo then tasks Ezio with eliminating the rest of the Pazzi conspirators. Ezio travels to the countryside and one by one assassinates them all.
Where is Jacopo? Sinner! No. I will.
Oh,
Meet with the others. That answers when. Jacopo. Nothing to...
Ezio returns to Florence, where Lorenzo tells him a story of how he met his father. By the way, I just have to throw this in here. I seriously dislike this guy. Lorenzo had people try to assassinate him, yes. I get that he's angry about that. But seriously, like he sees this young and angry kid in front of him and just sends him like a dog on the people he hates. It really feels like he takes advantage of this kid. For the rest of the game after this, Lorenzo sends him assassination missions. I think he killed like 30-something people for Lorenzo. Like, imagine the people of Florence, like, don't piss Lorenzo. Don't piss off Lorenzo, he has a guy. Ezio learns of a Templar plot in Venice. Ezio stops by to see his old buddy Leonardo before he leaves, but it turns out that Leo is also going to Venice. Ezio heads out and runs into Leonardo on the way to Venice. After a short carriage chase, Ezio arrives to Forli, the town where they will charter a ship to Venice. It is here Ezio gets stopped by the guard and told that he needs a pass. Ezio just so happens to find a young and stranded Caterina Sforza. Who is Caterina, you ask?
My next conquest.
And that's all you need to know for right now. After arriving in Venice, Ezio gets a tour and finds a wounded thief named Rosa. He helps her back to the Thieves Guild, where he meets Antonio, the leader of the Thieves Guild, in Venice. He explains the Barbarigo threat. Ezio is 22 at the time. He spends the next 4 years in Venice, helping Antonio build up his forces again to storm the Palazzo della Seta and take out Emilio. Ezio is successful and the thieves take the palazzo. Ezio then spies on a meeting with Carlo Grimaldi, the man who was at the palazzo the night Ezio assassinated Emilio. It is here that Ezio learns of a Templar plot to kill the Doge. Ezio, along with the help of Antonio, searches the palace for a way in, but to no avail. They then recruit the help of Leonardo, where they get the iconic flying machine mission.
Ma cos'è? Shoot! Shoot the flying demon!
Ezio infiltrates the palace, but he is too late. The Doge is dead, but not before Ezio can assassinate Carlo. With the Doge dead, Ezio is now the most wanted man in Venice. But don't worry, Carnival is going down. All he has to do is put on a mask and nobody will recognize him. Ezio needs to assassinate Marco Barbario, the man who took the Doge position after Carlo assassinated the previous one. To do so, Ezio needs to get access to a private party. This requires the Golden Mask. After attaining the Golden Mask through the help of Teodora, Ezio assassinates Marco. Now all that is left of the Barbario plot is Silvio and Dante. He's amassed an army in the military district, and in order for Ezio to seize that control, he must amass his own group. This is where we meet Bartolomeo del Viano. With his help, Ezio is able to take out both Dante and Silvio before they depart on a ship. Ezio learns in their death that the ship's destination was Cyprus. With the Barbario threat eliminated, Ezio reflects on what he has lost. Rosa lets Ezio know that the ship is due to return soon. Leonardo then finds Ezio and explains his findings from the latest Codex pages to Ezio. He's been collecting these throughout the game. Leonardo explains that the Codex refers to a vault that can only be opened by the Prophet, which he assumes is the Spaniard. The boat returns, and Ezio follows the courier. This leads him to Rodrigo Borgia, who is supposed to meet the Prophet. Ezio reveals himself and taunts Rodrigo about his Prophet not showing up. Rodrigo reveals himself to be the Prophet. A fight then breaks out, and all of the allies that you met throughout the game show up to aid Ezio in this fight.
Uncle! Don't worry, Nipote. You are not alone.
Pompey? What are you doing here?
We could very well ask you the same thing.
Save your questions, brother. Don't let Bodran into that box.
Rodrigo escapes, and we meet Machiavelli, who says that he believes the Prophet to be Ezio. Ezio is then inducted into the Assassins.
Benvenuto.
With the apple in his possession and a full-fledged assassin, Ezio takes the apple he obtained from the fight with Rodrigo to Forli to protect it. It is here where Ezio meets Caterina again. The Battle of Forli begins. It ends with Ezio killing both the Orsi brothers, but losing the apple in the process to a man named Savonarola.
Che miserie nascono dall'avidità. Requiescat in pace.
Wait. Don't. Who are you? Stop. Don't open it.
Ezio blacks out and wakes up to find Caterina next to him. She gives him a map to the remaining Codex pages, and Ezio sets out after Savonarola. This is where things get fuzzy. Ezio's 29 at the end of the Battle of Forli sequence. When the next sequence begins in Florence, he's in his late 30s. It seems he spent almost 10 years chasing him down just to discover that he's in Florence. Ezio returns to Florence and takes out Savonarola's men in the Bonfire of the Vanity sequence. Ezio then assassinates Savonarola, thus beginning his famous speech.
Anyone to tell us what to do. Not Savonarola, not the Medici. We are free to follow our own path. There are those who will take that freedom from us. Too many of you gladly give it. But it is our ability to choose whatever you think is true that makes us human. There is no book or teacher to give you the answers, show you the path. Choose your own way. Do not follow me or anyone else.
Ezio returns to Monteriggioni, where he has obtained all the Codex pages. After completing the puzzle, Ezio discovers the location of a vault in Rome. With his allies he has met throughout the game, Ezio sets out for Rome. In an intense last mission, Ezio makes use of every skill you learn throughout the game. Ezio fights his way to Rodrigo. As Ezio is about to assassinate Rodrigo, Rodrigo reveals the papal staff, which is another piece of Eden.
I've waited too long. Lost too much. Requiescat in pace, you bastard.
I don't think so.
Ezio hashes it out with Rodrigo while using his own power of the apple. Ezio loses the fight and gets wounded. When he wakes up, he finds the location of the vault. Inside, he faces Rodrigo for one last time in a one-on-one fight.
No more tricks. No more ancient artifacts. No more weapons. Let us see what you are made of, old man.
All right then. If that's how you want to play it.
After defeating Rodrigo, Ezio lets him live. Ezio then goes into the vault, where he meets Minerva, who speaks about a tragedy that befell her people long ago, and one that could potentially return in the future. Throughout this story, Ezio develops in several ways. First, from the innocence to maturity. Ezio is portrayed as a carefree person in the beginning, as well as an arrogant nobleman. He is more concerned about his social status and romantic pursuits, rather than matters of consequence. However, over the course of the story, he evolves into a seasoned assassin driven with a sense of duty and justice, rather than personal ambition. He also grows from emotional resilience. His journey is riddled with loss, betrayal, and hardship. Despite numerous setbacks, he demonstrates resilience. He mourns his loved ones and channels his grief into a pursuit of justice. He also achieves a sense of identity and purpose. As Ezio uncovers the truth about the connection of his family with the assassins, he undergoes a transformation in the sense of identity and purpose. Initially, he is motivated by revenge, but he gradually comes to embrace his role as a defender of freedom and justice. This is cemented during his assassin ceremony. Throughout the story, Ezio uncovers layers of deception created by the Templars. He realizes that the conspiracy runs deeper than he ever imagined. After doing some research, I found out that the Pazzi conspiracy was indeed a real event that took place in 1478. Led by Jacopo, the Pazzi carried out an assassination attempt on the Medici family. Giuliano, Lorenzo's brother, was killed, but Lorenzo survived. Most of the conspirators were caught and executed, but Jacopo escaped into the countryside. History says that he was caught and brought back to Florence, where he was executed. I really liked how the game intertwined the plot with the real-world event. Another interesting event that intrigued me was the death of Doge Mocenigo. In the game, Ezio rushes to save him after learning he has been poisoned. Ezio is too late, and Carlo successfully kills the Doge, and Marco Barbario takes his place. In real life, Mocenigo served as Doge from 1478 to 1485. He died from the plague on November 4th, 1485. The poisoning was based on real-life speculations that Mocenigo was actually poisoned. At the heart of the narrative, Ezio is on a journey of self-discovery. I mean, just think about it. One day he's a 17-year-old kid who does nothing but screw around. Then the next he's on the run with nothing. He lost his home, his friends, and his family, his entire identity thrown away. He has to find out who he is and what he wants to do with his life. Along the way, he meets people who influence him and keep him grounded. But at the end of the game, you realize that he truly led himself the entire way. He's very much a lone wolf. The game also delves into the corrupting influence of power as seen through the actions of the conspirators and the Templars. We see the manipulation of political institutions and exploitation of religious authority to oppress others. The biggest example of this was Rodrigo Borgia. Overall, I would say the biggest theme, the one that overshadows the others, as I have mentioned before, is justice and revenge. Revenge is the sole driving force for Ezio at the beginning of the game. He seeks justice for the crimes committed against his family. He does not care how many guards get in the way. They will lose. However, as the plot unfolds, Ezio's understanding of justice becomes more nuanced. He asks the big introspective questions, which leads him to question his own morality and the true nature of vengeance. Ultimately, Ezio learns that true justice will not be achieved through violence alone. The gameplay mechanics of Assassin's Creed 2 make an improvement on the original 2007 installment. Firstly, the climbing in this game is significantly faster than the original. This leads to a more fluid method of traverse. We are also introduced to the Climb Leap feature, which allows you to leap to a ledge above. Combat is also improved. With the new double hidden blade feature, you can swiftly attack enemies. The window for counters is also increased. We are introduced to several new weapons, including swords, daggers, and codex weapons. We also get a new armor system which improves on Assassin's Creed 1's synchronization bar. The combat itself is significantly easier than Assassin's Creed 1. In fact, many of the criticisms of this game was about how easy the combat was. Let's talk about the worst part of the game, the side quests. There are several different side quests you can find yourself lost in. This is an attempt to make the game more interesting as compared to the first, where there were just flags to collect. There were some that were relatively interesting, like the courier missions, the beat-up missions, and the parkour course missions were all really fun. But goddamn, the feathers in the treasure chest killed me. You spend hours hunting down these feathers that have no in-game map, so you have to look at them all online, just to get a 5-second cutscene where Maria gives you the cape that has actually no benefit at all, until Brotherhood. I'll be honest though, the scene with Maria is wholesome.
Thank you, Ezio, for not forgetting about me.
Assassin's Creed 2 is the best game of the Ezio trilogy. An unpopular opinion, I know, but hear me out. When I play single player games, I want a good story. I want to be enticed. Assassin's Creed 2 really does this for me, because you have no idea what's coming next. From the beginning, when you are thrust into chaos, you don't know how the story will unfold. All you know is that Ezio is gunning for the people responsible for his family's death. Everything comes as a surprise, whereas with Brotherhood, from the get-go, you know exactly what the point is. You need to assassinate Cesare and take back Rome. Overall, I recommend this game to everyone. This is a game I believe most people would love. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. Thank you all for watching. As I said earlier, this was my first attempt at a web essay. I would really like any and all feedback. If it was great, let me know. If it sucked, still let me know. I want to improve. Please give me a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
It is a good life we lead, brother.
The best. May it never change.
And may it never change us.
Bernardo. I think you just found your madman. To remain in this. Or are you the fool? True.
22 years ago, I stood where I stand now. Watched my loved ones die.
Back. I'm done. Nulla è reale. Tutto è lecito. Requiescat pace.